It is preparing our live stream, and our meeting is now live on YouTube. Awesome. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody who is joining us today for Faces of First Year. My name is Renee Forsyth, and I lead the First Year Experience program for Pima Community College. And if this is your first time joining a Faces of First Year broadcast, then what the purpose of this is to introduce first year students specifically to key resources at Pima Community College that are especially important for you to know so that you can be successful and well connected in your first year at Pima. So today we are going to be featuring Student Senate, which is part of student life, but there are various elected individuals who are students themselves who are here to represent you and be your advocates. So we're going to tell you all about Student Senate here in the next 30 minutes together. So let's first go around and have our panel introduce themselves. We will begin with Sage. Please introduce yourself, what your title is, and also what your major is at Pima.
Hi everyone, my name is Sage Hawkins. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. On the Student Senate, I am the All College Council representative, and it is my job to gather your feedback and make sure that we can implement changes based on any concerns you have. And I am a sociology major.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sage. And Josh, we'll have you go next.
Thanks, Renee. My name is Joshua Duran. I am the student senator for the Pima Online campus, and I'm also the All College Council representative with Sage Hawkins. And my current major is the Administration of Business for Transfer Program.
Fantastic. Thank you, Josh. And last but not least, Lupita, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Renee. So I'm Guadalupe Caballero. I'm the student life coordinator at the Desert Vista campus, but I'm also one of the advisors for the Pima Senate, Student Senate at Pima Community College.
Awesome. And Lupita, do you have a partner in crime who maybe helps you out with Student Senate?
I do, and that is Bea Velasquez. And Bea is a student life coordinator at the Northwest campus, and she's the other advisor. Thank you.
Awesome. They weren't able to join us today, but Bea, shout out to you and thank you for all that you do for Student Senate. And then Sage, is it just you and Josh as far as student senators, or who else makes up this group?
No, so this year the Student Senate actually consists of 7 senators. We each represent a different campus. I myself represent online East Campus. And yeah, there's just 7 of us right now.
Wonderful. 7 very important individuals. Small but mighty group. I like it. All right, so let's go ahead and dig in with just kind of getting an idea of thinking back to your first year. What is something that you wish you knew? We'll just start off with kind of Pima in general. Josh, what's something that looking back you wish you knew in your first year about Pima?
Yeah, great question. Great question, Renee. So there's a couple things. The biggest thing that I wish I would have known was actually about Student Senate. It's a really good opportunity to help your students, but one of the biggest things that I feel like went a little unadvertised was the opportunity for tuition waiver through the Chancellor's Service Scholarship as part of your compensation for being a student senator, or well, as part of the reward for being a student senator. That was really big. It's a big opportunity, basically pays for school, and you get to help people and you get a lot of leadership experience and training. So that was huge. One thing I wish I would have known a little earlier. A couple other things. I wish I would have known a little bit about some of the negotiation process if you missed the registration deadlines, which basically the situation is if you miss registration on like a 16 or 14-week course, you can reach out to the instructor individually and ask them permission to join the class late. A lot of times the instructors are willing to do so. And then I also would have liked to have known about the negotiation process for credit substitution agreements, where if there's a credit that you want to substitute for one of your core classes, you could reach out to your department head and your program advisor and try to negotiate that to include that as part of the substitution for another course. So it's doable. It's a little bit of work, but it would have been nice to know that.
That's awesome. You know, one thing that I think is especially helpful for first year students, but really any Pima student, is if you find yourself stuck or in a pickle or facing an obstacle, it doesn't have to mean the end of the road, but if you reach out to advisors or student senators just to pick the idea of, hey, how did you navigate this? Or what would you recommend are alternative solutions? Oftentimes, there can be something that maybe you didn't know or you didn't think of. And that's why I love student senators, because you guys have that experience and that willingness to share with your fellow students. So thank you so much. All right, so I'd love to know a little bit more about how do you become a student senator? What's the process and when are elections? So Lupita, do you mind sharing a little bit more about how students can do that and when the next opportunity is?
Thank you. So, a flyer is going to go out in November, early November, and it's save the date. So we want to put it out early, like Josh said. Sometimes, the students miss it. So in November, the flyer is going to go out, save the date, because the elections will be in April. So in April, we're going to start sending out the process and how they're going to fill out the application and instructions in that. So we're starting very early this coming year. So the election process is going to be for 2021, 2022.
Mhm.
So it's for a full year. So it's and the students could apply for 2 terms, which is 2 years.
Nice.
So.
And what are some of the general responsibilities of a senator? What would they be doing?
So each, and a little bit what Sage said earlier is there's 7 senators, but we usually have 14 senators, 2 senators per campus. So that includes adult education, Pima Online, Desert Vista, and all the other campuses.
Mhm.
So within those 14 students, then they vote for the chair, the co-chair, the secretary, the parliamentarian, the all college council, and the governing board representative. So they vote once they're voted in, then they vote the students, the officers into one of those positions as well. And then
It
they
sounds
start
very
working.
similar structurally to student council in high school. So is
Yes.
that okay?
Yes, totally. Yeah. So then they start working those, let's say there's 14 students. So those 2 students for each campus are going to be working with the student life coordinator there at that campus. But
Mhm.
right now, since we're virtual, they're not really working. They're actually working with all of us, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
So they're not just working with Jennifer or Bea or Michael Lopez, they're working with all of us. So
And
that's a little bit. There's a lot to it, but.
the process to get elected? Is that information going to be shared when you get the save the date announcement, or generally what's the process to get elected?
So the process to be elected, there's an application. The application is not going to be put out until maybe April, late April. So
Mhm.
they have to fill out that application. And then the students, the ones that are running for office, they get elected virtually by all students throughout the district. So then the votes come in and the advisor, Bea and I look at the votes and then we say, okay, so and so were elected. These are the 7 students that were elected. These are the 14 students that were elected. So that's how it works. And then we have all these cool trainings. So it
Wow.
is an application and they're voted in by their fellow um, students.
By the students for the students. I like
Mhm.
it. All
Yeah.
right. So, Sage, I'm curious, where is this resource located right now while things are virtual with COVID, but also when we do return to campus? How can students get involved or reach out to y'all?
That's a great question. So with COVID right now, we are trying to make sure that Pima still has that community feel. So because of that, we've created a Discord server, which we'll post a link to later, where students can come get information about the Senate and other clubs. As far as on campus, each campus has its own location, I believe in the student life offices. And on social media, we are on Facebook right now, but we are working on creating an Instagram and a Twitter and a couple other social medias to come soon.
Awesome. So the social media is more specifically the student life social media, which again will include specific links to after the live event is done and recorded. I believe the handle to that is Pima Student Life. Lupita, correct me if I'm wrong. And then for the web page, there's also that Get Involved web page where if they go to the Pima site, pima.edu. And if they just go to that toolbar at the top and search, type in the words get involved, they're going to find out a little bit more about this process. Thank you. And then Lupita, is there a specific email that students can reach out to if they wanted to follow up in contact?
There is, it is, let me tell you what it is really quick.
And you know what, while she's looking that up, we will also make a point to include that afterwards as well, so that everything is a quick click for you to follow afterwards.
So I found it. So it's PCC-student senators at pima.edu.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. So that's some great information to know about where to find your offices and how to get in touch with you both on campus but also online. Josh, I'm curious, why should students even bother? Why do they need to tell their friends about Student Senate? What's so important about it?
Glad you asked. So Student Senate is the main student organization that represents the student body to upper faculty and administration on policy and decision making. So, things in the past like making campuses smoke-free, that's a student-led organization that was driven by student feedback from the Senate to faculty. So, in cases where students are having complaints or having issues, or that direct feedback channel. Why it's important, one of the things that we just formed a committee to create like a more direct feedback loop to the Office of Online Student Success, which is run by Jackie Allen, to provide consistent monthly feedback so that any sort of policy changes, complaints, issues that are coming up, especially as the COVID situation develops, we can work on making those changes happen quicker in a more consistent manner and more consistent with student needs and desires.
Awesome. Sage, is there anything that you would add as far as why first-year students should tell their friends about y'all?
Yeah, just a little bit. So we really are the bridge between the faculty and the students. Because we're students ourselves, we know exactly what you're going through, and how to help. So if you reach out to us, we'd be glad to help. One last thing I want to mention is we've started a new task force this semester called Breaking Barriers, that I'm a part of, and I'm a student co-chair for, and we're actually looking at the curriculum and PIMA's policies and making them more inclusive, and making Pima a wonderful place for everyone.
I love that. Oh, I love that so much. Thank you. Thank you to all of you for the very important work that you do on behalf of Pima students. All right, our last question may seem a little off the wall, but if you know me, so am I. And what I want to know is sometimes we talk a lot about what a resource is, but it doesn't click until you hear that analogy. So if you were to describe Student Senate as if it were, I don't know, let's say household furniture, what piece of furniture would it be in your house and why? So let's start off with Josh. What would you say? How would you describe it?
It's an interesting one. Household furniture, I have the closest thing I could pick is an appliance, probably a washing machine. You throw everything in and it gets jumbled up and, kind of doesn't make sense at first, but, we're here to kind of, clean the problems up and make sure it comes out right. So.
Bright and shiny. I love it. Linen fresh. Thank you. Sage, same question to you. If you were to describe Student Senate as if it were household furniture, what would it be and why?
That's a really interesting question. So I'm going to say a rocking chair, because we are here to provide comfort and safety when things get rocky. And we're also a very stable resource for everyone.
Well, and much like what Josh was sharing earlier, you guys have experience and skills as students, and sometimes you're just there to be able to mentor new incoming students. So I love that. Thank you. Lupita, I'm going to field this question to you. I'd love to know your answer. Which household furniture and why best describes Student Senate?
Thank you. I love this. So a dining table. And the reason I picked a dining table because I think the best conversations come out of that reunion, right? When you sit and you eat great food. And I feel like that with the students is when we sit and we kind of go back and forth. What do you need? How can we support you? How can you all support each other? So I think those great conversations lead to more productive and successful outcome of their flying that we have during that time at the dining table. So
I
I
love
like it.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else that any of you would like to add? All
Please
right.
reach out to us. We are dying to get feedback. We're working on reaching out to the student body more, but the channels that we have, we want to hear what you guys have to say. We want to make the campus a better place for you, especially all the struggles that are COVID are happening. So reach out to us on email, reach out to us through Discord. We're going to try to get as many people before our terms are up. And let's make this campus a better place.
Exactly. I completely agree with that. You definitely need to reach out to us. I want to say thank you to Renee for like giving us this unique opportunity to present to y'all. I think it was really neat, and we can't wait to hear from you, and we can't wait to help.
Well, and on that note, I will just say the more you care, the more you share. So if you liked what you heard today, please share this video so that your family, friends, friends of friends can learn a little bit more about Student Senate at Pima. I want to thank you all for joining us today. We will have more sessions just like this in the future for Faces of First Year. Next month, we will be talking to the IRSRC, the Immigrant and Refugee Student Resource Center. So please join us next month to learn more about that. But in the meantime, please take care, be well, have a wonderful weekend, and fabulous fall semester at Pima. See
Thank
y'all
you.
later.
Bye. Thank you.